Hey everyone, welcome to another Grim Dawn skill overview video, and this is going to be the first where I don't really have footage for it because we're doing Pneumatic Burst. Pneumatic Burst is a Nightblade ability. It is awesome. I think it's more awesome because of Shadow Dance, but I mean, it's just an awesome ability in general. So yeah, Pneumatic Burst, secret martial techniques of the Nightblades enable you to draw vital breath or from your surroundings for a short burst of speed and power. The metabolic acceleration caused by these vital breaths also confers minor healing. So in the skill box, it has an energy cost, a skill recharge, a duration that is longer than the recharge rate. It restores your health, it gives you some health regen, and gives you some bonus total speed. I recommend running it at 12 out of 12. Beyond rank 12, it actually has diminishing returns on what it provides you. Basically, every even ability, every even level, you'll get a better benefit than what the odd levels provide. Pneumatic Burst has two modifiers and a transmuter. The first modifier is Shadow Dance. Practice in combat meditation allows you to achieve a calm clarity in the heat of battle where you can calculate the path of enemy attacks and shift subtly to lessen the impact of weapon hits on your armor or to deflect projectiles. So this gives you bonus defensive ability and then chance to avoid melee attacks, chance to avoid projectiles. This is pretty huge because at 12 out of 12 you get 20% avoidance essentially, of any melee attack or projectile. That means, in the order of operations for defense, you have a 20% chance to just have things miss you completely. This doesn't work against dots, it doesn't work against ground effects, but it does work against all melee attacks and all ranged attacks. And this is awesome. This is like one of my main defensive abilities I point to in the game for people who struggle with building up a defense, especially with the Spellbreaker combination, because just having that avoidance is awesome. Just being able to completely negate 20% of incoming attacks is, just, it's awesome. There's no other word for it. You just avoid 20% of the incoming damage from enemies, and it stacks with all of your other avoidance. I believe it's multiplicative though, just to keep that in mind. And the second modifier, third part of the ability, is Elemental Awakening. Adept Nightblades can pull energy from the air or even foes their weapons come in contact with to deliver attacks of intense cold. So this will add on some flat frostburn damage to all of your weapon attacks. It increases your overall elemental damage and your overall frostburn damage by percents and gives you some resistances. So it's a good attack and defense ability. It's a little underwhelming given that it's this late in the tree. And should probably get a little bit of a buff, but otherwise, if you're running a heavily cold-based Nightblade and you do go this far into the tree, you can just tick a point in it. You could also get it to its 12 out of 12 for a massive elemental damage increase and massive elemental resistance increase. So I'm just gonna use Pneumatic Burst real quick right here. It puts this swirly thing around you, sort of warps everything around you. And as you can see, it went on cooldown. And I'm gonna let the cooldown go. And as you can see, it's still running. So what you can do is you can keep Pneumatic Burst up all the time because its duration is longer than its cooldown. Oh, right, and it has a transmuter, Breath of Belgothian. Overly muscled and slow by Nightblade standards, part of Belgothian's success was attributed to his ability to recover health and outlast opponents through a profound mastery of the breath technique. This is a melee dual-wielding technique, also enables the ability to dual-wield melee weapons. This decreases the skill recharge by 5 seconds and increases your health regen by 33%. So you need to be dual-wielding to get Breath of Belgothian, and it enables dual-wielding. That's actually a question I get sometimes. How can I dual wield things when I don't pick up dual blades? Well, you can pick up Breath of Belgothian. Just tick a point in it, and you get dual wielding. You also have this recharge 5 seconds faster. I mean, with this character, that'd be something like every 3 seconds he could do Pneumatic Burst, because he's a cooldown based character. But Yeah, regardless of which version you're going with, you can just use the standard one, it's fine. You'll have Pneumatic Burst up pretty much all the time while you're playing anything that's combo to the Nightblade. Pneumatic Burst will give you a heal, basically every, in this character's case, 7.6 seconds. And, it gives you a total speed bonus that's pretty much up all the time, and this is why the defenses are great, because as you're tapping the ability and keeping it going, you have your avoidance up. Also, you'll get a damage boost if you make it to Elemental Awakening. So, for a defensive setup within the Nightblade tree, Veil of Shadow and Night's Chill actually work pretty well with Pneumatic Burst. Because Veil of Shadow reduces the enemy's speed and reduces their offensive ability, you'll survive better when you're in melee. And you'll deal more damage to enemies with Night's Chill, plus you'll get that like flat cold damage whenever this ticks. These combine together well to give you a good, robust defense just within the Nightblade. You could also pick up Phantasmal Armor to increase your armor and pierce resistance. If you really need it, you could go for it. I usually just use it as a one-pointer. And yeah, Anatomy of Murder is more damage, I guess. But pretty much outside of this, the main other synergy is Breath of Belgothian with dual wielding. So if you're doing, like, say, a dual wielding Saboteur, you could go and pick up your dual blade lines and just throw Breath of Belgothian in there. Because you'll just get this faster, which means you'll heal more often, which means you'll also, you'll survive more, but you'll also have more health regen going on. A third more health regen. And then dual blades, obviously, all the abilities are meant for just basic attack, procs. So yeah, you won't interrupt your Pneumatic Burst at all with that. I mean, Pneumatic Burst, you can just keep it going. There's no animation for it. So regardless of your build, you can just pick up Pneumatic Burst when you're combining with the Nightblade. For outclass synergies, we'll just jump right into the Spellbreaker, one of my favorite class combos, specifically because Pneumatic Burst with Myvan's Sphere is awesome. You'll get so much avoidance with Shadow Dance, and then the attacks that do hit you, you're just reducing them by 20% on top of that. So you get huge amounts of defense just between these two abilities. And if I'm building a Spellbreaker and leveling it up, I will usually forego, like, swiftly killing enemies to build these two defenses up, just so I won't die, like, at all, when playing a Spellbreaker. You can also pick up Electra's Flash Freeze in a similar vein to freeze the enemies around you. That's more for when I get into talking about passives in the Nightblade, but the defensive setup for the Spellbreaker is amazing, because also Mirror of Oraktes can be worked in there as a one-pointer or getting it to 12 out of 12. Now for synergizing outside of the Spellbreaker, Pneumatic Burst really is going to end up standing on its own. With the Blade Master combination, you can obviously combine a shield in there so that you avoid an initial set of attacks and the shield can absorb another set of attacks. I don't really think I need to pick shield training if you're doing that. But I will also pick out, on the Witch Hunter variation, you can run Blood of Dreeg with this. If you do Blood of Dreeg, an aspect of the Guardian, these two abilities, you can basically keep tapping them to keep them going. So, with Nightblade, you'll have this heal with Shadow Dance, which will give you the avoidance. And then over here, you'll have Blood of Dreeg for its heal, the offensive ability boost, and then the physical resistance and poison acid resistance boosts. So you can keep these up, and you can sort of stagger your activations of them to keep yourself healed. You can heal yourself a whole lot with the Witch Hunter combination. It's almost a little absurd that you basically have three health potions to work with this character. Because, like, you can health potion, blood, burst. Blood, health potion, burst. Like, you can do any combination of your 3 default healing abilities, and you'll keep yourself really, really strong and really, really up there. Oh, and incidentally, this gives you your flat health regen per second, and if you're dual wielding with Breath of Belgothian, that is increased by 1%. And just to point out what I was talking about with the Blade Master combination, shield training, definitely makes your shields work great, and you can use Overguard as a one-pointer or focus on it, and then Mainer's Will, if you're using a shield, you'll have this heal when you drop below 33%, and then if you really need to augment it, like you can time out your Pneumatic Bursts so that you can keep yourself healthy and then drop below 30%, let this kick in, give you its heal, give you its regen, And then, like, maybe on the tail end of this, you could be Pneumatic Burst again, or you can combine it with Pneumatic Burst if you're well, you can't do it with if you're dual wielding. But yeah, you can combine it with Pneumatic Burst and give yourself another heal with some more health regen. So that would be your little synergy right there. Beyond that, the Saboteur is going to use it as well, probably with Breath of Belgothian, dual wielding, and doing Fire Strike. And then the, what do you call it? Trickster is probably going to be using it as well, but they're pretty much going to be using it standalone since the Trickster is lightning based, Nightblade's cold based. Generally speaking, you're going to be building like Savagery or Primal Strike with Pneumatic Burst and stuff. Like, it's not exactly the best meshing of things, but yeah, Pneumatic Burst on the Trickster is mostly about the heal and the Shadow Dance. So yeah, my Trickster is based around the Winter King's Might ability. So he's actually using Pneumatic Burst with Shadow Dance as a defensive ability, and then Elemental Awakening to give himself that elemental damage boost and the resistance boost. It should be noted that if you get Elemental Awakening really high, you add a crap ton of Frostburn damage onto your attacks. So yeah, using it in melee is pretty nice, and you could do this with dual wielding as well if you're using some cold Frostburn weapons. Elemental Awakening will just add on a nice source of Frostburn damage. You could maybe do something... Oh, Bleeding might work, actually. You could probably do a Bleed build maybe with Savagery. I don't know. I don't really think there's an amazing meshing of the two trees. Pretty much I think the Bleeds maybe would work for Savagery, dual wielding, and getting like Whirling Death in there. I don't know. Now I'm just talking about builds, because you could probably use Breath of Belgothian with that and the dual wielding and keep yourself safe with this, and then build Savagery and then attack real fast and build, you know, probably Lightning and Cold and maybe just Elemental in general, Frostburn or something. Yeah, I'm just talking about random ass builds now. So I think it's a good time to end the video. So thanks for watching, everyone. I know this was a short one and didn't have any fancy schmancy footage, but it's Pneumatic Burst. It's pretty much, you're sitting there and it's just gonna be, you know, on you. It goes kind of on cooldown, and then you just press the button again for the heal and keeping your defenses up. This is gonna be one of those types of videos, I think, with these skills where it's gonna be short. You're gonna see the ability, just its effect on the character, and just me talking about it for a little bit. It's not gonna have any sort of crazy demo or anything like that, just because I mean, it's not affecting enemies really around you. So thanks for watching, everyone. Please check out my Patreon. You'll find the link in the description below, or it's going to be on the screen somewhere. It really helps out, even $1 a month, and it'll help me to continue doing these videos. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.